Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. It is, holy crap, June 20th. Freaking month is almost done. And I cannot complain about the weather where I am. It's gloriously in the 70s. We don't have rain or any tornadoes. And it's like, it's gorgeous. This is Allastrology. We do live readings. Get your digits to me. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. Can you hear me? ABC 1, 2, 3. Hello? Anybody out there? Christy, I see you. How are you? What's your question, amiga? She's got no humidity. That's kind of how it feels here. It's glorious. It's nice. I mean, we've been we've had California weather for the last 3 summers, but we've had a lot of rain in the last 10 days and some shitty, crazy weather. Some really bad, devastating weather. Not right here personally, thank God, but yeah, some horrible stuff an hour south of us. But for right now, I'm like, yay. All right, so if you can hear me, birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. I need all that stuff to create your chart. That's the way this works. Okay? Everybody gets a reading. We do speed readings. That's how this works. And for some folks, if they want me to spend more time on their chart, they can get that. You gift the channel and I gift you back. That's how that works. The payment apps are right below the Livestream, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. The queue, you have to get in on the chat. That's how I see first come, first serve. Like that's how this works. All right. I can hear you. Thank you. How does something Barrow's basket interact with my natal chart? Yeah, I have no clue what the hell that is. Does it activate my 29 degrees Leo or any other critical degree placements? And what area of life would you expect it to affect most? Okay, well, let's get your chart up and let's see what you're talking about. Good question. I'm assuming that thing you're calling the basket is called something else. And I just am not familiar with that term, but that's fine. We'll get your chart up here. Hello. Who do we got here? Oh, I'm going to jack your name up. Hi. How are you? Sinister days. I see you. All right, let's get this. Let's get Christy's chart up there. This sounds like a loaded question. It does. Let's see what we got here. Hello. Oh, let me close this out and then let me get Christy's chart up and we will take a look at this here. Let me find the software. There it is. Thank God. Yeah, get your name in the chat. Get your digits to me. Some people like to have their digits sent privately. You can do that. The Gmail account is right there. It's running across the bottom of the screen. Pay attention to the spelling. It's different. One letter off and I won't see your stuff. So make sure it's right. And let me go pull up this chart for Christy. So let me see here. Oh, we got Christy with a K. Of course we do. Yeah, I know you've got some 29 degrees. You got a 29-degree sun in your chart. Let's get that on the screen real quick here. Let me go to the live stream and let me give the live stream a thumbs up because I never remember to do it. I don't know, I don't know what the hell makes a difference. Yeah, there's a vertical and a horizontal live stream. Just heard about it. It hits 4 areas of your life. Okay. Oh, look at she's just slant. Oh, wow. I didn't even see all of this. Maybe that's because I grabbed my phone. Holy crap. Oh, she's teaching us. Look at this. Here we go. A rare planetary configuration forming in July of 2026. A basket-like pattern made from multiple planets connected by trines, sextiles, and oppositions that supposedly draws opportunities. Okay. You just heard about it. All right. Well, I think, let me get your chart. Let's take a peek here real quick. Let me get this off the screen. Oh, she's got more information for us. Becomes clearly active in the second half of July and is strongest around July 20th and the 22nd when Jupiter becomes a major anchor point in the pattern. All right, let's go look at her chart. Let's see about her major anchor point. You do have significant objects in your chart natally. I mean, just look at your natal chart, right? I mean, holy crap. You got the Merkaba action happening in your chart, Amiga. You just do. It's plain as day. You see what I call that Solomon's star. The Merkaba. There's lots of different names. All right, Sinister Days, I got you. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate that. That means, yep, unless I have digits from somebody else, you'll be number 2. All right, so let's get the transits up here. We're doing transits. Ooh. And the last 10 days here of June, yeah, shit's going to fly. It's just moving fast. The nodes and Jupiter they like go into 5th gear. They move into 5th gear. So here you go. Here's what you were asking about. I think you said you wanted July 14th, July 20th to the 22nd. I got July 20th on the screen for you. So the big basket, whatever you want to call it, but the basket would probably include, without a doubt, it would hold on. Let me move some things around. I got this on Vedic astrology. Let me flip this over real quick so that this makes sense for what you're probably talking about. There we go. All right, so you're probably talking about Neptune at 4, Uranus at 4, Uranus, and Pluto at 4. Right? That would be likely part of it because you can't really ignore these big 3 up in the sky. Now, in your chart, you're asking about the 29 degrees getting activated. So let's see what we're going to have here. We go find the nodes they're dancing at the 0 degrees mark. You know what that means, right? Dancing at 0 degrees in Virgo. So Christy, yes, this node right here is already touching your Regulus and your sun. Your Regulus and your sun are together, right? The authority of my own life, right? The beliefs about your future, mysticism, religion, spirituality, creating. Ooh. Performance energy. Ooh, performative, dramatic. Creating digitally, using images, publishing. Yeah, that would be a thing here. All right, so at this time, you also have the sun just entering into your eighth house, your ninth house, and you're going to have Mercury retrograding over your Saturn, your long-term goals. So there's a thing there. So already, with regardless of all the other things that you've mentioned, well, we'll go find Jupiter. So we're going to go look at Jupiter, and look where Jupiter is at 4 degrees. So far, a lot of things in common here. Jupiter is now in a nice trine to Neptune. And actually, if I move this back a week, I had it on there. Let me get it back up there. Yeah. Even if I were to move it back a week, it's the 2 degrees because it's almost at 3. It's trining this Neptune. And Christy, you got a 5th house cusp line there at 5 degrees in fire too. You see, so fire and fire. Really powerful energy here for you. So you have a nice fire trine in that way. It does not create well, yes, it does create a grand fire trine because you have your Neptune over here. You see this? So you have this big trine going on. Now you have creative energy. We have discussed this before, right? Home and family, women energy is strong, but emotional needs, emotional security, emotional safety, a sense of being able to release and surrender. Perceptions is coming up. Like the word perception is coming in real big actually right now. I will also say that 5th house cusp line, other than being creative energy, can be how I take a risk. And it's where we're quite courageous actually. And so as you have Jupiter going through your 9th house, but you have it in the Leo energy, people will likely take risks they don't normally take at this time. But it's the beliefs about your future, you focusing on that. And then your Venus is going to get triggered, you see? Your Venus will eventually get triggered as Jupiter moves along. So technically, whatever you call it, you definitely have this big grand fire trine that is activated. And honestly, I would say for you, the strength of it, I'm going to look at these degrees real quick. 4, that's at 5. You do have something at 29 in Cancer. Yep, you got a lot of 29 degrees objects. So reality says that your stuff's going to be activated probably a little bit sooner. Yeah. It's possible, especially since we have the support. Your own Pluto is sitting here at 5. This is important. That creates changes. It is relationship energy, professional energy, personal and professional, but it's at the number 5. Okay. Remember the number 5, right? It isn't just about taking risks and, but the gambling stuff and maybe gambling's the wrong word. That sounded horrible. Sound like somebody who's an addict. But you know what I'm saying? We just kind of take chances. It's very daring. Daring is a good word. Within those relationships. But remember that 11-degree thing, I'm sorry, the 11th house, 5 degrees on the 11th house for you. It's the group energy too. And being like the authority, but maybe a change there. So yeah. All right, let me go look at some other things. Look at Mars and Uranus. So this gets triggered. Yeah, that makes more sense. These two together are definitely going to trigger. Yeah, call it whatever you want. You absolutely have a trigger multiple ways in your chart because you have Mars, which is literally called the trigger planet, conjunct Uranus at this time. Okay, we all have this. But for you, the big thing is that it's talking to your Pluto and your 11th house cusp line, the group energy and the professional partnerships. And there could be a surprise. Usually this is a disruptive energy, but there's going to be a communication of some sort of news and information. Technology and being creative digitally, like that might be a thing, but guess what? This is all in the house of partnerships, and it's triggering partnership energy. Jupiter is at 0 degrees here, and it's definitely going to be part of this picture because of objects you have. You have stuff at 26, 27, 28, 29, multiple things up in the sky, right? Objects here at 29. And yeah, I would say start paying attention. This is showing the beginning of July. So the energy starts to build here. Okay. Remember, the nodes are already still at 0 at this time. So for you, your ninth house, you're really focused on the future, but absolutely creatively publishing for sure. A direct expression of your beliefs is a big part of this too. But as the sun is going through Cancer, 8th house, wounds of the past, women energy is strong. This is shared values and shared money. So again, the energy is going to get nice and tweaked for you. So I would start paying attention, close attention, as soon as July begins. And then when you get closer to the timelines you've listed, you still have very strong things connecting in a very strong way. So really quick, we'll give you you've got Jupiter trining Neptune energy, which is usually speaks about not just perceptions, but dreams, fantasies, beliefs about the future, and is it real or whatnot? But spirituality, and also maybe travel plans, because your first house is affected. You've got Neptune in your first house, so it's your perceptions about yourself, and Neptune is big with sound and imagery. Neptune in Saggy is kind of like, overseas and feeling like a foreigner in a way, in some way, feeling different, maybe even isolated and like an outsider. But it can also be like, oh, I'm like, Neptune can kind of be these beings that are like dreamy like in some way, almost like fantasy, almost like movie stars, public figures, like that kind of energy. But prayer and meditation, of course, is huge. But with Jupiter, it's more lively. Absolutely. This is where what's the saying here? This is where purpose, like Jupiter's purposeful intentions, becomes more about performance, becomes performative. Like I don't stand still and I'm radiating, because that's what Leo energy does. So fun can be a thing. But again, Jupiter in the 9th house of travel. Holy crap. Like that's Jupiter's domain. That is Jupiter's domain. Okay. So maybe making travel plans, maybe taking a journey, going on a journey, maybe taking other people down a journey. It looks like a nice time. So just pay attention, pay close attention, and just remember, as far as seriousness and work, that Mercury's doing a retrograde, but it looks to be a wonderfully beneficial time with your fire trine, and with connections to a lot of the water energy as well for you. Just it's more joy and creative energy, on top of possibly taking a risk and being lucky. Jupiter in the house of Jupiter in Leo energy. You never know. You just never know. Hopefully, right? It's fun stuff. All right. We are moving along here. And let me see whose name. Sinister Days. Unless that person dropped their digits to me. Let me check real quick in my Gmail. Oh, Frank. Hey, Frank. Okay. So Sinister Days, you are up next. Let's get your chart on here. And Let's see what we got here. There we go. We got you. Like, I know you've been here. You've been here before. There we go. Sinister Days is up. Anything career, finance. Okay, house. Hey, healing readings. I didn't see you. How are you doing? Hello, House of Tao. I wanted to say House of Tea. And you got your digits in. Very good. Awesome. Yeah, hold on. And you'll be up after healing readings, I believe. If I'm looking at my cue right. All right, let's go see what we got for him with him. Sinister Days. Can I speak? Can I speak? What do we got going on here, Sinister Days? Let's go check out the now that we're on the Jupiter roll. Let's get there. So you're going to have Jupiter in the same spot. You'll still have Jupiter in your 4th house. Ooh. So if you are a creative person, this will be a big burst of confidence. Yep. It's interesting because when you have a mixture of Cancer within the 4th house and Leo, um, you're going to have like the same energy. But the difference is you're going from Jupiter enhancing water, which brings back more memory and emotions and history, feelings, sensitivities, feeling very emotionally sensitive. Now Jupiter's going into fun, laughter, daring Leo energy. So it does make a change. Let me see if you have anything. Okay. Whoa. All right. So what you may be facing right now, let me see. What did that say? Where's Jupiter at? 28 degrees today. Okay. All right. Even as we speak, we have vertex on this point. Now you are likely feeling the trine to Venus. You have that in your chart. So that creates an abundance, possibly of desire, significant one-on-one relationships, possibly you feeling like that's a need for you. Venus in Scorpio is about attachments to bonded energy, physically bonded, blood bonds, sexual bonds, like that's that Venus energy in Scorpio. But also shared values and even to more past energy. So this Jupiter is going to move. Okay. It's not going to be forever. Literally in less than 7 days time, like between 5-6 days. Yeah, you're going to have the Jupiter is going to move a degree. That'll help. And then it's going to move again. So we're talking the end of June, the very end of June. You're going to feel a difference. We're all going to feel a difference. Now, for you, I got to be straightforward with you, okay? I want you to just see this, though, all right, on your chart. It goes into fire, so that's good. It's still in the 4th house of emotions, so there's an increase of optimism with Leo energy, play, want to feel like a kid again. You may find it's easier to laugh in general, but it's super creative energy. So Jupiter will create more, probably some creative gifts maybe that you haven't opened and revealed yet. It's possible. Here's the thing. At the very beginning, it's going to be kind of tricky because it triggers karma. You have karma at 1 degrees and it's conjunct Pandora's box. So this Jupiter with Sedna actually are going to trine these two things here. What that says is it's still a lot of fire energy, so that's good. You may find ego and pride and major increase in ego pride energy in general, which means we might be impatient. We might be seem more childish than usual. There might be shadow parts of our personality that, we've seen in the past, but now, holy crap, like they're blaring us in the face. We can't really get away from it. And we kind of got to own it. And, if you're not happy with it, make a change. That's this kind of energy because you have, there's just, yeah, there's trauma connected to this stuff from the past, home, family, mom, property, wounds, mother wounds, and 8th house stuff, literally 8th house stuff. And it's connected to my physical body, but my physical body, my identity, um, my independence, my freedom. All right. Now, that sounds like a rough start, right? But in terms of money, because now you'll have Jupiter training the shared values. Okay. So the beginning is probably going to be a little tricky. If you can navigate emotions and the deep, intense stuff, then you'll be fine. But you don't have to wait too long for Jupiter to pull off. And then you're going to have Jupiter training some of this eighth house energy of shared values and money. All right. Now, that's going to be like after you're 10 days in of July. Okay. At this point, let me see. You've got the 0 degrees. You've got Venus going through the house oh, she's not there yet. She's still in the house of creativity. Let me go to your Saturn, 8 degrees Libra. And the Saturn is at 13, 14 in Aries. So she's going through your 12th, and she isn't retrograded just yet. It'll be at the end of the month. You do have some nice trines that'll be happening when that does happen, though. You do have Mars going through the second house of income and money. So let's back this up a minute. Mars will start to initiate some things for you. So we're in July. And usually when Mars gets activated, right at the beginning of July. Actually, you're 1 degrees on that first house cusp line. So you can even say the very end of June, not that far off. Mars will be in your second house of money and income. Now, how's that going to look with you and Uranian energy? Oh, it's going to trine Jupiter. Oh, you have a natal Jupiter conjunct your Saturn there. Okay. I feel like this is a good thing. This can be authority figure, but surprises, information coming through. Partnerships increase, professional partnerships, possibly domestic partnerships. You know how it goes together, right? Personal and professional. But it's in the house of work. It's in the placement of day-to-day routines. And it's a nice trine. The only caution I will give you for sure is that weekend for everybody, the 4th of July. These two together, Uranus and Mars, can be real tricky. And so you're going to want to wait. Just be cautious until like after July 5th. By then, it's Jupiter's becoming part of the picture, a stronger part of the picture here. And I would say that work is increasing. Absolutely. And then Mars going through the second house. Hopefully that means that if work's increasing, are you looking to change work because of disruption with Mars conjunct Uranian energy? Let me see if you have anything over there that's in the opposition. That's going to be crazy stuff for you. Nope. Other than those two that I talked about originally, which can be a pain in the butt. These two. Remember when I talked about that rough time? Yeah. Because these two will be triggered. So there is a little bit of a rough period in the next 7 days. Yeah, a little bit of a rough period. And then once you get to the 10 days out, very end, it starts to free up a little bit. But you should be in a situation where you're hopefully being recognized and acknowledged. Your work, as Saturn is going through your 12th house, that can make work and duty and jobs and responsibilities a little fuzzy, a little confusing. So if you're working, whether it's behind the scenes, then this would be good for that, because that's what Saturn represents in the 12th, working behind the scenes. This Neptune will begin a retrograde. Let me see if you have anything at 4 going across the board that we spoke about earlier for everybody else. So we've got the Neptune. There's the Pluto. Nothing natally there. Nothing natally. You do have something here at 4. Look at this. In your 10th house of career. You got something. You've got Ra. I must have talked about this before, but this is ability to overcome obstacles and to find resolutions. This is the workaround king. Insights enabling you to get past blocks or work around them to reach a goal. And that's where Pluto is sitting, right on your rod. So this can be disruptive energy, changing, switching. If you're working in tech, then this is connected to that. Your South Node is in tech, so and it's in the 10th. That would make sense. But yeah, you don't have anything down here at that 4 degrees. But I think that overall with Mars going through it, and Mars can be a little bit wicked energy. It is your great malefic, but it's going to be trining a lot of partnerships. So this would just require you to not be too headstrong, because Mars in Gemini for all of us can get its mouth can get way ahead of itself. Its thumbs can get way ahead of itself, right? And we just want to be careful. Remember, especially when it's near Uranian energy. So other than that, your Mars will then be kind of tapered. It'll be under, it'll have a little bit of the Jupiter influence that'll help it. So I actually like this. And then it'll be talking, of course, with your Saturn, which is connected to duty, responsibility, and seriousness, and it's more structured energy. So that's good for your Mars. Mars is then going to pull away from those. I just got to see what else you got going on here. Yeah, there might be a little thing that you're concerned about, and you might even be feeling it now, because we have Chiron in Taurus right now. Like, this just happened yesterday. And I have a video up on the channel that I did back 6 months ago. And I'm going to release a refresher on it, because it was so long ago. I think people forget, right? Anyway, it talks about what the heck this is going to mean. But look, you have something right there at 2 degrees in Taurus, and it's in your first house, which means it really talks about, your perception of you and your values and how you are valuable. Am I valuable? Am I worthy? It's talks about all that. And so with Chiron at 0, it's already talking to this 2 degrees value, love, self-love, Chiron and Taurus energy. So there just might be some processing, especially since your moon is next to it. Emotions, family, and home. There might be some processing that you're going to be going through, because values and money is part of it, right? But people think that that's Taurus energy, my income, and that's it. It's a lot more than that. And so there's like a whole process that we have to go through with our Taurus stuff. So overall, taking this quick look, I think that Pluto being up there in that 10th, and if you're orchestrating changes for your job, it's because you want to. And it will start psychologically, that's for sure. You'll have different ideas, different communications, networking, offers. Like, that's how that energy works in the 10th house. It's the master networker. So I feel strongly optimistic when I look at a chart like this, even though you will have Mercury going over into 4th house cusp line. So home and family is coming up a lot here. And mom energy, whether you're a mom, whether you want to be a mom, whether it's your own mom, nurturing energy, starting a family, but the history, the past, and childhood, a lot of that is coming up here. You want to make things in the home to be comforting, for sure, but they have to support you emotionally. Yeah, I don't see anything big and crazy until like some years off, with Uranus at the opposition of your own Uranus, when you'll be ready to kind of break out and break away kind of energy. Actually, your Neptune. Yeah, that's many years off. Many years off. Yeah, it looks crazy in the chart. It looks crazy in the chart. Not just your chart. It's just a crazy astrology time. Um, I want to see if Mars is going to do anything crazy for you. The week of July 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, you will have your malefic Mars starting to angle your 6th house cusp line, your 6th and your 11th. I'm sorry, your 6th and your 12th house cusp line. So as Mars does that, it just might be a little friction, a little tension, a little irritation. I mean, it does suggest stress, but with Mars being impatient in Gemini, it's the entire time Mars is in Gemini. And so therefore, maybe there is a little bit of impatience with values and desires and money and income. But if you are typically, if you're working from home because you've got a lot of home energy and you've got creative Leo in the home, but your Saturn is domestic energy too in the 6th house at 8 degrees, though. This is like the healer energy. I don't know if you're aware of that. Change, transformation, and healing. That's a Scorpio degree. It talks about deeply meaningful work. So are you looking for deeply meaningful work? Like, do you want to make that change to do something that's deeply meaningful? As this Saturn begins its retrograde in your 12th house of your subconscious, it definitely could trigger that because you have the vertex here. You follow? So when this retrograde begins at the end of July, it'll trigger this, which triggers likely some karmic stuff, and not karmic necessarily in like a negative way. It just means, yeah, stuff from the past gets triggered. But it's deeply psychological energy, and it's in the house of healing and institutional energy. And so we might rethink our long-term plans and our goals and career and work possibly too. Because with Pluto here in that field of career, it's going to be on your mind. But Pluto does not want to get a job just to get a job. It has to be purposeful. You know, it's got to make a damn difference. This is an ultimate humanitarian energy, unless you're like some oligarch and you've got like extreme money and you're going to abuse all that power. Okay, so you already made the change for a more meaningful career. Absolutely. More meaningful, because that's, you know, your natal Saturn is at 8 degrees conjunct the Jupiter stuff down here. You want meaningful stuff in relationships, personal and professional is going to be important. It's going to be important. Yeah, so if you made that change, well, look, you had the workaround, right? Pluto conjunct the workaround right there. That makes sense. And I hope you like your job. Are you in a situation where you feel, yeah, I want to stay? Zazu, I see you. How are you? Healing readings. Gee, when are you on again? My birthday is Monday and I would love to catch you live, but I've got to run. Okay, Donna, you'll see me during the week. Who knows? Maybe I'll show up on Monday. If not, then maybe it'll be Tuesday. Well, it's usually been on Tuesdays. But yeah. Well, happy birthday. If we don't see you before then, or if I don't see you on the day of your birthday. I mean, Donna knows all about Mars and Uranus energy. Holy smokes. She's living it, man. She's like, I gotta run. Oh, Zazu, you're just fine. Having confidence issues. Yeah. And did you see what I showed you? The Chiron. Yeah. But Jupiter's going to boost your confidence. As soon as Jupiter goes into Leo, you know, you're having the confidence issues because of what we're facing right here. The 28 degrees. We dive deep into our emotions and in the past. And it's, yeah, even though it's an exact trine to your Venus, but you have Uranus there. So maybe there's an authority figure, maybe there was some sort of an interaction, and that jostles how you feel, it moves, it kind of just disrupts things. But it's this. If this Chiron wasn't here, yeah, Chiron had been sitting at 29 degrees for like a month. So it was affecting, because the Taurus is all about my values. And not like the stuff I'm holding, but am I valuable? You follow? And it's like self-worth and self-esteem issues. And look, today, Gemini, the goddamn brain doesn't go off. The sun is at 29 degrees, right? Yeah. When you see it on the chart, it becomes a whole different thing. It becomes, the chart comes alive and it speaks and it says, just relax. It's going to pass. Just let it pass. Moon energy is strong, especially when the moon is in freaking Virgo. And look at the moon. Look at right now. Listen, look at your chart. The moon is in Virgo at 19. My emotions about my job, about my health, about my day-to-day routines, usually very logical, practical energy, but highly critical of self. Look what it's trining in your chart. It's trining your Mars exactly. Your malefic Mars. Mars may not have anything good to say, right? So it's the moon trining Mars. The moon moves fast. So don't let your brain drive you nuts. Because let it pass. Absolutely. Yeah. So I hope this makes sense for you, and I hope you feel better about it. And the moon's going to move, and you're going to feel better. By tomorrow, the moon moves to 1 degree. Of course, Chiron is still sitting there, but just know that it's about you learning that you are of value. Absolutely. This is a lesson for all of us. I don't recall seeing the Chiron. Yeah, Zazu. I know. We'll check it out. Okay, so let me go to the next name in the chart, and I think that is, let me see, House, because Donna said she's got to go. No problem. So House of Tao? Is that how you say that? I mean, yeah. Are you here? December 17th, 1987. Stratford, New Jersey, 5:50 p.m. I've been learning astrology, but haven't had anybody look at my chart for me. If you're still here, I'll take a quick overview for you. Are you still here? Oh, well, I'm just going to not even try to pronounce. That says T-O-E, but the name says T-O-A. But pronounce it as Toe? Okay, House of Toe. All right. Okay, I'll take that. Let's get your chart up here. So nobody's looked at your chart. You've been learning astrology, which means you've been looking at your own chart, which is good. That's the best way to learn. Thanks again, Sinister Days, for the gift. Thank you so much. I think I thanked you already, but just in case I didn't, thank you. All right, let's get this quickie going on here. And we got double checking your digits just to make sure we got this right. And we have December 17th, 1987. Pretty freaking wild. Because that December 17th was the last chart I looked at. Was Sinister Days chart. Wild. Different years, of course. 5:50 p.m. Pretty wild how that happens. And we've got Stratford, New Jersey. I didn't know there was a Stratford, New Jersey. Am I reading that right? My software was telling me, oh, okay, good. It recognized it. Thank God. Man, the update they did to this software has just made my life so much easier. It used to be so insane. All right, so you've seen your chart before, I'm assuming. And the chart I have gives you a Cancer on the ascendant at 10 degrees and 57 minutes. Let's get you up here so we can get this on the screen real quick. Oh, I don't think that's the right one. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's always wanting to play games with me. Let's get you here. House. Okay, let's do this one. There we go. How about that? So are you a Cancer rising? I've got Cancer rising. And I have a, holy crap, Scorpio moon. Holy crap. Look at the Scorpio. Mars and Pluto. Whoo. Mars, Pluto, moon, and vertex. Ooh, Sagittarius sun. And you've got a freaking stellium. You got a lot there. A lot of really condensed energy right there. Galactic center with Uranus conjunct. Yikes. Wow. Okay. Yeah, is this you? Does this look like your chart? So your sun and your moon and your ascendant should all match what I have. Or what I have should match what you have. That looks right. Okay. All right. So you have a Jupiter in fire. Wow. All right. It's in Aries, which means you'll eventually have Jupiter trining Jupiter because you have Jupiter transit over here. Okay. So the chart in general, wow. Yeah, you can see all the configurations in there. Your north and south node are part of your kite. Wow. Okay. Top of your kite is 28 degrees in Pisces. 28. Close to your midheaven, 23. Okay. And you have the vertex points that make up the other. Oh, let's see. 27, 26. Venus. Okay. Makes up the other point in that kite. All right. I'm just going over this in my brain. Alrighty. So your superpower is your details, your ability for the analytical stuff. This is in the home. This is how to provide, how to serve, and give comfort. Virgo is really good with keeping things orderly, neat. Talks about service, one-on-one domestic kind of stuff. Now, the 28 degrees is moon energy. This talks about mom energy. So it's an extra emphasis. So this can be like nursing, home healthcare aides, working with the public in some way. 28 degrees, working with the public in some way. Which service industry, I mean, there's 1,000 ways that can be working with the public, right? But Virgo is all about the details, right? Having that eye that can see how it can make something better. And interestingly enough, it's your fourth house cusp line. So that's what gives you your emotional security, the ability to sit there and look at the details, to keep things, make them make sense type of energy. But the 23 degrees on your fourth house cusp line, this might mean that you have or had, because this can represent mom energy and home and childhood, right? You could have, an authority figure, whether it was dad or somebody who might have been overly critical, a neat freak. There might have been a little bit of that in the home. It could mean that mom was that way. She might have been even a little detached, or home in general might have been that way. If it wasn't mom herself. This 23 degrees can be group energy, but it can also mean that somebody is, I don't want to say condescending, but they can be cold and distant. How about that? But you have the number 11 comes up multiple times here too. So just so you know, this is all astrology, literally. The number 23, the number 11, so it's no wonder that these things this would be kind of, just breaking things down and being able to see them, see the pieces, all the bits. There might be something that's important to that for you, with emotions, connected to emotional well-being and feeling secure. So this would be, again, the superpower energy, because it's your south node. These people are really good in serving in a practical capacity. Nothing flashy. Really mundane energy, actually. But very underrated energy, as always. So does this sound like you at all, in any way, shape, or form? Now, your moon energy, Scorpio moon energy, you might have noticed, what's your birth year on this again? 87. You may have noticed in terms of children and romantic partners, or even in creating, there's some depth there. There's a bond there, a deep resonating thing. And you might realize, you might have experienced that there's a connection, there's a tethered, like an invisible link with romantic partnerships, or while you're in those, whether it's dating, mating, relating, at any stage. So Scorpio moons are really psychic people, just normally. And so the way you're going to be creating and expressing is going to be quite intense. Now, this is the house of having a good time and fun. So it wants to deeply bond. That's how Scorpio works. It demands it. It demands it, actually. And yours is in relationship energy, significant one-on-one relationship energy. Can be personal and professional. All right. So does any of this sound like you so far? You have your Sagittarius sun. It's at 25. This is going to be tricky. I think you have a benefit here, because you have Mercury and Saturn close by. Details, Mercury. This can be a mixed bag. Saggy doesn't care for Virgo energy. They just kind of are like oil and water. So this can kind of be a mixed bag. These people want their freedom and their independence, literally. So they want to be, especially when you have boss energy, the sun right there. Yeah, we want to be the boss at the job, right? And even if we're not literally the boss, then maybe I have my own workspace. You follow? Like, you got to work with what you got. But this can also be that I'm traveling for my job, like I'm on the road or something. I'm always searching, seeking. I'm just always on this adventure. So if you can get a job where you're in an adventure, that's great. But this can also have a lot to do with spirituality, higher education. teaching, learning, preaching. It can be that as well. I knew a couple of different people personally who had like their Saggy there, and they both worked. They weren't necessarily the boss, but they made sure that they had jobs where they were working independently and that they felt worked out better for them. Let me see here. Uranus, of course, here means the same damn thing. It should be different kind of work, unconventional kind of work in the 6th house, but this would be domestic life as well. Extreme independence and freedom. Big time on the day-to-day routines. And I mean, just like this would be important. This would be big. This is technology, of course, too. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is the thing about Saggy is it wants the freedom to believe what it wants, which is great, right? But ultimately, here's what makes this tricky. Because you have Mercury and Saturn conjunct. They're going to combine and kind of work as one. Saturn is all about tradition. You follow? And at 23, it's like my way or the highway energy because it's the boss, Saturn, rules, orders, structures, regulation, but it's at the Uranus degree. You follow? And so if someone's telling you what to believe or, and communicating, that can make life a little miserable, a little hellish. So, this says I got to do what works for me. I have to, dance to my own tune, my own music kind of thing. Or at the very least, have the freedom to explore and figure that out for my damn self, right? That's what that energy says. So the thing about this in the house of work and in the home, it can be tricky. Sagittarius energy is always kind of tricky because it's got that strong freedom aspect to it. So I found that, a lot of folks that I talk with, it just, they find it tricky. Many Saggies say they are loners. They call themselves loners. You do have professional partnerships in the place of partnerships, long-term, material, tangible, financial security in the 7th house. Okay. And that's going to be super important to you because Sirius is right there conjunct your Venus. Super important. This is how you feel nurtured, how you feel loved. You're all about the long term. Let's not play no, which is interesting because, this can create delays, but you also, because your bonded energy is Aquarius, you follow? Like, how do you emotionally bond? Well, with this energy, it's like I don't have to bond. This screams, but it's just all about the material, tangible. Let's bring it on. Show it to me. Let me see it. Prove it. Right? The good news is that this is at 24 and so is this. So that can add on a Neptune vibration, which brings on more of a receptive sort of, it adds like a softer element to the harsh Capricorn energy. So your dream work, who knows? But normally Venus in Cappy is very much like a smart Venus, I would call her. But because yours is at the 24 degrees, she can take on more of a creative aspect. So something that's more beautiful, fine art-ish. I'm going to say ish because it would have to be material and tangible. Like that's Capricorn. I want to see it. I want to hold it. Capricorn. So whether that means a ring, something material, tangible, give me a bar of gold. I mean, whatever that is for you. But dream, this 24 degrees kind of represents a dream. So a dream of a long-term committed relationship. Again, this can be personal and professional. Oh, we got a lot more going. Hopefully y'all don't hear that too much. This is connected to a wound. It's a quincunx energy to the wound in communication. It's hidden. It's in your 12th house. That might make this tricky for you. Ooh, yeah. So another complex chart. The majority of your chart is on the right-hand side of the chart. You see that, right? Majority of the energy is sitting all over there. this kind of a setup speaks of, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, and the ninth houses, even the 10th, and learning how to manage almost a balanced type of energy, how to manage my family, my home, my feelings, my emotions, my long-term goals and career. You have Aries energy there too, more independent action, professional fight energy, even in the 10th house with Aries energy and Jupiter being there. These can be soldiers, of course, that would mean. But that could be in any capacity. It doesn't mean you have to, like, do that literally. But learning about fun in childhood and partnerships with Capricorn in the seventh, sometimes again that can be that delay, or we may just keep it professional all the time, or somebody who's older and wiser. Neptune's there, so that can make it tricky. That can put up those glasses, those rose-colored glasses. But yeah, so overall, 10th house energy and independent energy is strong in your chart, and you've got fire in the houses of work and income and money. So I think it's a matter of you creating what you want to do, and Jupiter's going to come through here. So whether you're, whatever you're doing now, Jupiter is actually going to really trigger, along with Chiron in Taurus, a new set of values. Or are you creating something, because it's all that Leo energy? And in general, I think that, it's definitely going to be an expression of yourself, whatever it is you're doing. And this energy usually wants the spotlight, usually wants to take center stage, usually wants recognition and acknowledgement type of energy. Especially with Jupiter up there, boss energy, big time, the boss. So maybe you'll be boss of yourself, boss of your own stuff, or whatever. All right. But you've got, a lot of fiery ass independent stuff going on there. All right. Let's go look at the chat. Hope that helps. Hope it makes sense if you're just starting to study. We do this quite often. And you're always welcome to come back and take a look. All right, so we're moving on, and hope that helps. Hope that has helped. It was, the sixth house is busy. Yep. Home was general, raised very strict. Shocker. I'm telling you, that fourth house cusp line at 23 degrees. I'm like, holy shit. Super religious household, moved out at 18. Yeah, I am not surprised with Uranus there. You were like, oh, hell no. Relationships weird my whole life. Work is hard for me to keep. Saggy. That Saggy energy, it is tricky. It's tricky. It means well. And I usually, Saggies, I think they're hilarious. I always chuckle when they're like, I love their sense of humor. It gets difficult because they really feel connected to the wisdom and the truth and the knowledge, and they feel like everybody wants to know this, or everybody should know it. And then that's when other people are kind of like, oh God. But your history, your past that you had growing up should probably steer you clear of that, because you were on the receiving end of that. And you know what that feels like, where it's like, don't be ramming that shit down my throat. You need to go find your own people who you can preach to type of energy, right? So you should know all about that. And so that's probably actually a really good foundation to teach you not to be that way. So that's good. I'm going to start my own business with esoteric and holistic coaching stuff. Go for it. What the hell? Give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. You are welcome. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, Zazu, I think you're up next. Let me check the chat, though. I got to double check, but I think you are. It's summertime, and it's all good. I don't mind the slower The slower chat's going on here. Zazu. Are you still here, Zazu? Yeah, you have Chiron. We'll look it up. We've probably talked about it. It's probably just been a while. There's always been so many other things to discuss, right? Okay, who's next? Zazu, are you here? Hello, hello. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. Get your reading. Get your reading. And if it's not Zazu, because I don't see you up here, Zazu, I need you to comment that you're here. I'm not going to pull up a chart unless I see you back in the chat. I know there's a delay sometimes. As a matter of fact, the internet might have bonked out on her. Who the hell knows? You know, you just never know. You never know. All right, House of Toe, I got you saved in the system. Is that Zazu's like, I'm here. Okay, Zazu, I see you. Let me get your chart up here real quick. Let's go take a peek at your Chiron energy. Let's get it up here. I need water. Okay, here we go. Let me go find the chart. Okay, Zazu, are you paying attention? We're going to find your Chiron for you. You see it? We have talked about this. It's that letter K with the circle at the bottom. Yep. And I remember talking about this not too long ago, actually. You were in the astrology class because we were talking about the degree that it's at. So it's in domestic energy. It's in Virgo. It's right there at 14 degrees in Virgo, in your 5th house of children, fun, joy, creativity, and romance. It's at the Venus degree of values, desires. That's the degree of it. This talks about a wound. I'm going to read it from the software just so you can hear what they have to say. Okay? I think it'll be helpful not to hear something from me for you, because you hear from me all the time. So I think if I read it to you, it might seem more objective because, well, after all, the software doesn't know you. So the wounded healer, it represents our emotional and physical wounds. It reveals a part of us that is hurt, small, and vulnerable. We are encouraged to heal our wounds and then to look beyond personal realms, to see the suffering of others and to become teachers and healers. The Chiron in the Virgo energy creates a strong link between emotional problems and physical health. It says you may fear emotions, preferring the practical daily chores to the chaotic world of feelings. Health and healing will be important to you. You may be of service to humanity by becoming a healer. Remember, Virgo is focused on the details. And if we are not cautious, it can become critical, even overly critical at times. It wants things just so. There's a thing for every place and a place for everything with Chiron in Virgo. Now, connected to your 5th house, talks about your creative expression was somehow wounded early in life. meaning your ability to creatively express. When you were a child, someone or something may have prevented you from going out, having a good time, having fun during your early childhood years, or even creatively communicating. Your uniqueness standing out. Somebody tried to stifle it in some way. You may later teach children or have an ability to put people in touch with their own creative powers. Connecting with your own creativity, you touch the inner child and allow that child to come out and to creatively express. This is key to the healing. So creative communications, and this is what they talk about. And I just want to add, because it's in the 5th house. Remember, the 5th house also can be dad energy. Perhaps when you were a child, maybe something connected to dad energy. But, an authority figure of some sort too. So whether it's you being the authority in your life, being the authority of your own creativity, of your own creative expression, of your ability to have the practical things that you need to create, right? Your tools. Remember, Virgo is all about the tools. And so Virgo wants this and this. And oh my God, if I could show you a picture. Well, you guys have seen it in my older videos, but I have a person in the house who, one of my housemates, the other room that I would sometimes do videos, or I did videos for many years. And it's all art supplies in that room. All art supplies. So many tools, like so many. And yeah, that person's a double Virgo. Double Virgo. I know we talked about them having different supplies for gardening and stuff, but oh yeah, big creative energy with that other person in that room. And so having their own space for that is a big deal. Having their tools and their space. And when you have in the house of, I'm the authority of my own stuff, you might have really clear ideas, Virgo energy, very clear process and steps. Remember the minutia of how things should be just so, and order things like in a practical way, right? Because Virgo wants to make things better. That's what it wants to do. It looks at something and says, I know how that can be improved upon. It's that energy of, I've arrived on the scene and I'm going to leave it better than I found it. Like that's big with that Virgo stuff. Jupiter in the 4th house, home and family, and Jupiter at 26 degree, another Venus degree. And it's a male energy, Jupiter, and it's in Leo in the 4th house. An 8th house. I'm sorry, 8 degrees, and the trauma and the tragic stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff from the past here. Remember, more healing energy, 8 degrees and Pluto. Just a lot of healing things that you have going between 3rd, 4th, and 5th houses. So a lot of stuff from childhood that has to kind of likely, I'm sure you've gone through some processing of it all. But maybe there are connections. Maybe there are those invisible threads that you can connect to whatever you're living through now in your life now. I see you, Zazu. I'm sorry. I didn't see the chat. I just got back to the chat. I can't hear you, but I can see you because you're in the chat. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state for a reading. We do speed readings unless you want to leave a channel gift. Then I can spend more time on a chart. Zazu, what is this? I was molested. An uncle, and nobody would protect me. I was listening to somebody talk about that a couple weeks ago. And she was explaining that sort of energy, not just the molesting part, but that piece, the second piece of it, the trauma. The first piece is a trauma, right? Of course. But the second piece is the additional added on trauma. And nobody would protect me. So whether nobody would protect you, nobody believed you, nobody acknowledged that it happened, or people were like, okay, get over it type of energy, right? She was explaining that, or at least her thoughts on this, her belief is that people get wounded from the act, of course, but it's really the greater wound later is the response of the others when they find out about the event. They deny it. They say it didn't happen. She said, but there is a mentality around it of denial, but it's denial connected to survival. And it's for the survival of the tribe. Isn't that sick? I heard that and I thought, oh God. I mean, this makes sense because this is a story that almost every woman that has had this experience shares. Not every single solitary one, but I would like for somebody to raise their hand and tell me if they can tell me a different version of that story where they weren't either, yeah, I would love to hear that somebody took action. But I never hear that story from anybody that shared that with me. I've never heard that from anybody I've talked to. It's always, my mom didn't care. They told me I was lying. They told me to get over it. They just outright, acted like it never happened. And it's just so common. And so when this lady said that, she said that the tribal mentality that we carry subconsciously is that if we go and hold somebody accountable for that, then it's going to affect the tribe. It'll disrupt the tribe. It'll affect the tribe. And God forbid we do that. So basically the child, in that sense, that child is sacrificed. And it's basically like this subconscious mentality that just keeps repeating. And it's like, no wonder. It just goes on and on and on. So I thought, holy shit. That to me, it made a lot of sense, like to understand why will this not change? Why does this keep happening? Right? Like, what the hell is it? I mean, other than, sickness, obviously. And can we at least start there? Can somebody at least point it out that this is unacceptable, that it's sick behavior? We just had another example. I mean, I've heard some really horrible stories. Horrible stories. And I'm just like, whoa. That is exactly what happened. Oh, God. I come from an immigrant family, so my mother was not allowed to confront my uncle. And that destroyed my family and ruined my relationship with my father for the rest of my life. So I've carried the thought that I was not worth anything. Oh, no, Zazu, let that thought go. I totally get it. I totally see how you could go from A to B to C with this thinking. I can totally understand that. But it's just doing you damage while the rest of these individuals who are the ones who actually did the damage, don't let it damage you more than it already has. And I don't know where you're at on that path, but not worth anything shit, it's a crock of crap. They stole your flame. They stole your light. It's time to relight your flame. And to be like, F y'all, light your flame back up. It's got nothing to do with your self-worth at all. But it sure would feel like that to a child, wouldn't it? I mean, absolutely. 100,000% it would. And people, or whoever. Yeah, I just cannot believe. I cannot. When the lady spoke about the group mentality, the tribal, we can't disrupt the tribe. If we do this, the tribe gets destroyed. And you just said, yeah, that's what happened. Changed your family forever. Okay. So it changed the family forever, you know? The main thing is, God, what did it do to the person that it happened to? It changes the family forever. People have to grow. People have to freaking, these 6 cycles have to stop. And that destroyed my family. My mother was not allowed to confront my uncle. My mother was not allowed to confront my uncle. Very different times we live in, right? Your uncle's, he was lucky your mother didn't slit his damn throat. I'm just saying. I mean, seriously, not allowed. What the fuck? I mean, I hear shit like that, and it drives me crazy. It drives me bonkers. I mean, yeah. Wow. And ruin my family's relationship with my father. Well, yeah, right? So, whose brother was that? I'm assuming that was your, no, I don't want to say, but it looks like, was it your dad's brother? Although your Jupiter was, where's your chart? My dad's youngest brother. And your dad didn't beat his ass or kill him. Wow. I'm just saying. Hey, teamwork, how are you? You dived in on a heavy topic. You dived in on a heavy topic. Or in the middle of a heavy topic, I should say. You've been having fun with the World Cup. My father's youngest brother. Yeah. Well, I really hope, Zazu, that you have done all that you have been able to do with that trauma. When we take this off the screen, you're that see that Pluto, right? The Pluto and the Scorpio stuff. And on the 8th house cusp line. The 8th house cusp line. The vulnerabilities and the traumas. Mom energy. But it was dad energy on the 4th house cusp line. But it also tells us that it's not really just about this lifetime either. Yeah. Well, I hope it's okay that it came up and that we talked about it because it needs to. And, the self-worth, you said it came up. Well, Chiron went into Taurus at 0 degrees yesterday. So in your chart, I want you to see that. Actually, let me take this off of here. It gets too many things up there for you, for all of us, really. Let me get this off of here too. And it's Taurus energy, desires, self-worth, values, love. So your Taurus is in your 12th house. And in your chart, look at your 12th house. You don't have any planets there, right? I mean, you've got Elgo sitting there. But what you would do is you draw Venus in. You just put Venus in there. Put in a glyph. Venus looks like that. Yep. And it's interesting because she's even at the freaking Jupiter degree. Yeah. But the 12th house is the hidden, hidden desires, what goes on behind closed doors, what goes on in the dark. subconscious, but also karmic energy in other lifetimes, other realities, however you want to put that kind of energy. But again, this is stuff where it goes way back. Yep, it goes way back. And so it would be important to sever this and to break that cycle. So hopefully for you, you have been able to process for your own sake, not for dad's sake, not for the uncle, not for your mom, but for just for you. Yep. Yeah, you are welcome. So the Chiron at the 0 degrees, let me go take a look and see what the angle is here. You've got Leo, you've got Aquarius energy, and here it is. So I want you to also see this, an angle to 0 degrees of Taurus, because if I go like this, there's the Chiron in your 12th house. And look, so you had Chiron sitting on your vertex for a long time because it had been there. But it just went to 0. And at that 0, in your 9th house, significant one-on-one relationships, you have Juno there at 2 degrees, at a Venus degree, relationships. You see that? So that Chiron is squaring the relationships, but it's your beliefs about those relationships. And so Juno and Chiron are getting squared up. It creates a stress and tension. Let me see what you have at the opposition. Yeah, you have something there. That's what I thought. You have an object right here at 2 degrees in Scorpio. And it's 2, which is the Venus desire degree again. And this energy at 2 degrees in Scorpio talks about how you become aware of the universal life force. It's your personal relationship to the Creator as you see him, her, or it. It is circumstances that stir you to commune with the Creator. And it's in the Scorpio energy. It's in the energy of trauma and healing and my vulnerabilities, my deep wounds from the past. You see? Chiron is at an opposition to that. And it's a big T-square for you with the Juno at the 2 degrees. And Aquarius, definitely authority figure. And I could be wrong, and I'm just going to take a second to go check this out. I want to check it before I say it because I'm not positive. Just let me double check this here. Okay, so it's telling me, as I double check this, that Mercury. Okay. Oh, interesting. And look where Mercury is. Oh, at 23 and 21. Okay. And it's in the Cancer energy of the past. All right. Well, the higher octave of Mercury is Uranus and Aquarius energy. It's really interesting. Where's your natal Mercury again? 7th house. Okay, at 19 degrees, significant one-on-one relationships. Okay. All right, well, that stress and that tension and that Juno relationship stuff I think that when Jupiter gets into your Leo energy, because it'll be at an opposition of that, hopefully you'll feel like you have greater understanding and maybe even a sense of release and surrender, and maybe hopefully more healing comes along for you. So, that's the very end of June, beginning of July that you'll start feeling it. Okay? Hopefully it gives you what you need. Yeah, you're welcome. So with Chiron, let me do this. So with Chiron being active for the next few years, is this what is going to be coming up for me for the next 7 years? I don't think I will live long enough to heal this. Well, if you really feel that you won't live long enough to heal it, maybe it's, I just, honestly, the Jupiter thing, seriously. I think Jupiter getting into the Leo energy will be at the opposition and the angle to these objects that I just pointed out that Chiron is already aspecting and sits here at 0. So yeah, these will be coming up. And Chiron begins its retrograde here. I started speaking about this a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were here. I have a Chiron video I put up 6 months ago. I kind of refreshed it a little bit and added some additional information. But I'm going to repost it, repurpose it, republish it is a better way of putting it. And because it was so long ago, I think people forget a lot of the stuff. I think it'll be a good refresher. A refresher is what I'll label it as. But it'll talk about the timeline of how long this lasts. The cycle is a long time, but for you, because you feel like you have such a short amount of time, then that means then you better utilize Jupiter at the end of the month. So you're already processing it right now, right? But Jupiter is going to angle. It's going to angle this Chiron. Jupiter's going to square this Chiron. You follow? While at the same time, it's going to be angling some other objects for you. Those objects I already spoke of that you have sitting at 2. And I'm hoping a healing, because Scorpio represents healing, Chiron represents healing. So it's possible, but you kind of have to find, I don't know, find a way maybe to ask for help as to how you can release this. Because, that north and that south node you had, and we've talked about this before, as far as healing the traumas of the past, that is your north node. That is your soul's goal. And I think it would be really good to just, I don't know. I mean, because this isn't my field at all, how to heal those past traumas, but maybe make that your focus. Especially when Jupiter comes through, as Jupiter gets higher up in those numbers, and see what it brings for you. Usually it can bring some understanding, like this isn't just about you, even though it is, right? This is about a generational thing. This is about, when I say generational, transgenerational, which means when we have contacts, contracts, commitments with other souls, there's experiences that we have committed, have said that we have signed up for. That sounds horrible. I know. That sounds horrible. And so your role in this is to somehow to forgive the unforgivable, right? That's asking for a lot. But it's for you, Zazu. It's for you. It's the ability to realize that this is so that you can release the chain. You see this, that number 8 is a chain. Think of it, we see it as that number 8, but literally think of it like as an iron chain. Remember that one Christmas movie? He shows up and he's got the chains and he's dragging them. They're like freaking anchors on the goddamn floor. That's what it is if we don't let it go. You follow? And you don't need that. You don't want that, right? And you're probably thinking, why would I have the chains? I didn't do the wrong thing. No, but the release and the forgiveness is for you, Okay. Somewhere in the psyche is, I wasn't good enough. I'm not good enough, right? Somewhere that crap happens and infiltrates us. And we kind of feel like we're to blame and blah, 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 blah for this crap. But do it for yourself. Do it for you. And that is part of that 8th degree and part of the Chiron stuff is by doing it for you. That's you telling yourself that I love myself, that you can depend on yourself because it's for you. Yeah, it's for you. It's for you to let those chains go for yourself. It's kind of like, when I spoke about the detachment energy, it's the same thing. It's releasing and letting that shit go. I know that's just words. I know. But especially for someone who feels that you have a timeline that you're working with, right? Well, then that means, okay, let Jupiter do its thing. And let me see. Jupiter is your great benefic. Yes, it is. So that should give you some hope. And when Jupiter gets into Leo, it's going to give you some hope and some courage and some optimism because that's what it does. And it will be part of your mind energy. And I'm not making this up, just so you know. I was just, checking it out because I wanted to be certain before I spoke. The 3rd house, Mercury and the 3rd house isn't just peers and siblings, neighbors and coworkers. It's also the house of my father's brother. I'm not making this up. Not making this up. So that it is uncle energy. And you have Jupiter there already anyway, because you have Cancer in the 3rd house as well as your Leo. And that's, yeah. And Mercury and Jupiter touching. But this Leo, this Jupiter going into the Leo energy gives you a place to focus. And that's also one of the keywords for Jupiter is focus. Isn't that great? I mean, again, not making this up. We go higher. We elevate our mind and we see it from the mountaintop. You see the wounds of the past. You see the trauma that you went through, and you see it from that higher perspective where you see more of the picture and where you understand, hey, wait a minute. I already went through some shit. I got to do what's good for me now. And I'm taking control. I've got control of this because I'm worthy, because I love myself. It's for you. Do it for you, Zazu. Yep. You can do it. Absolutely, you can do it. Jupiter gives confidence, especially in Leo. Courage and confidence. Yes. I'm so glad you're here, Zazu. I'm glad you got to hear that. Yes. Houston, Texas, checking in. What's going on, Houston? Stephanie, I think you're next. I don't see anybody else put their information in the chat, so we're just going to go ahead and pull your chart up. I don't think I've seen you here before. Let's create a new chart. Have you seen your chart before, Stephanie? And we have September 19th. (1963). And 12:57 p.m. All right. And this is Houston, Texas. Oh, God. I hope I didn't lose all of that. All right. And there it is. I'm like, thank you. Please don't erase that shit. All right. Okay. So what I see in front of me is a Sagittarius on the ascendant. Does that look like you? Saggy rising, 23 degrees on the ascendant. Whoa. Ooh. Let freedom ring. Holy shit. Okay. You have freedom and independence. You are a Virgo sun with a lot of stuff in Virgo. Well, then you must love these kind of charts. Virgo in the ninth. Ooh. It's a mixture of Virgo and Saggy energy. Ooh, that's tricky. You're a Libra moon if this is you, and you got relationships energy conjunct that. Whoa. Okay, significant one-on-one relationships, professional relationships. This can be justice and fairness and equality, lawyers, courtrooms. It can be that energy too, but domestic or not domestic. That was the wrong word. It'll come back with the D. Domestic came out, wrong word. But yeah, things being fair. Lawyer energy even. So is this your chart? Oh, good, Zazu. I'm so glad to read that. There you go, Zazu. That's what I'm talking about. I actually said those words yesterday to my son and grandson. I am in control. Yeah, and just remember. Yeah, well, we've had conversations about that one too. It's control of you. That's where your focus has to be right now. And what your concerns are about taking care of before you get to get the hell out of these bodies, right? And move on and be really free. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Okay, I do believe so. Stephanie says, I think this is my chart. Well, I would say with a chart like this, there's an abundance of details. You even have a South Node in Capricorn, so very earthy energy in general, even though you're Saggy rising and a air moon. But with a Libra moon, this can be like beauty, harmony, fine art. Yeah, the emotionally satisfying kind of energy. These people step in and want to make something beautiful. They appreciate the finer things in life type of thing. But it can be controlling energy. This can even be your mom. I don't know if mom was that way, but you do have Aries energy in the fourth. Really extremely independent energy with Jupiter there as well. Whoa. Retrograding Jupiter. Conjunct. Okay, I see. So very independent energy. And your thought process, these people, you might travel for work, travel for health. That would be a big thing here because you have so much in Virgo. Technology, something different, definitely Virgo energy though. Whether you work in that field, yeah, some sort of a healing modality, taking care and service energy, but your own health and doing something unique and learning about health. Wow. You've got Gemini there in the 6th house. You have 0 degrees. Oh, 0 degrees on the 6th and the 12th house. Oh, scattered energy possibly at home. Really strong, curious stuff, but it can be scattered. So there's maybe a job that you work in. You might feel that way. Where you have to multitask. That's a better word. Can you multitask? But you can handle details. Holy shit. You've got them with a retrograde Mercury in Virgo conjunct your sun. Woo! Believe it or not, so how does that feel in Jupiter, right? These people can sometimes drown in the details. I said Jupiter in the 7th and the 9th. Yeah, Saggy energy. They can drown in all those freaking details. Wow. So your Pluto's at 12. Interesting. Change, transformation, healing energy. There can be some gut stuff with Virgo energy too. And then the 9th house, what can make that tricky is whatever the health issue is or was, it can really kind of exaggerate it. Or can it be like an abundance of things even? This can also be a person who likes to keep busy. You know, this is the to-do list and the projects and the tasks. That's what these people are. They like to stay busy. Matter of fact, it's like their brain, it's got to have that stuff to do and the details to gobble up. It's got to have that. It's like the nervous system energy with Mercury for sure. Nervous system. Your Chiron is here in group energy in Pisces in the 3rd house. Again, coworkers, neighbors, siblings, peers, and uncles. We're just going to say it. Yeah, dad's brother, 3rd house. So yeah, you have that at 11. You've got Pluto at the top. You have let me see. Do you have yeah, you do, because you've got so you have a kite in your chart. So far, everybody that's come on tonight has a kite in their chart. Interesting. I know with these charts with so much in them, it can be easy to have that. But you guys all have significant stuff, like big things. Not they're all. I mean, this is Pluto. This is Neptune, Chiron. Like these are big names. It's not little things. And at the top of your kite is freaking Pluto. Change and transformation, deeply meaningful. So you need work and projects and tasks and to serve in ways that are deeply meaningful, things that really do matter. It's not trivial. It's not, it's not Gemini energy. This is energy that says it should make a difference in someone's life. But this down here screams that your work is going to be something really unique too. Work that's unconventional. Income, values, money. Yeah. It's really strong authority figure energy too. And then Pluto also suggests that you have to witness the change. Like you have to be part of it. You have to witness it. And because it's about growth. And if that growth isn't constantly continuing, then there's probably, you're not going to stand still. But healing, that's like double healing energy there. Interesting. Very interesting. You have Hathor, part of this kite, and it's conjunct Sirius, like divine mother goddess energy combined with Hathor. Pretty fascinating. Mother goddess of Egypt. Really, really interesting. It's about nurturing, bursts of creativity, even invention, and acting with the courage of your convictions. It's in Cancer energy, home, family, mom. Big kite. So Pluto being at the top of that kite means that all of this energy, the Neptune, the Chiron, more healing freaking energy. But this is the wounded healer, which is I had to go through these freaking wounds first and then healed from my wounds and then able to help others to do the same. But yeah, this grand water trine is topped with practical, earthy Virgo at the top. Pluto and Virgo. Yeah. Deep changes at the root level. It's connected to your beliefs and possibly spirituality, for sure. A combination. But again, Virgo says, I can make this better. It wants to always be improving. Does this drive you crazy? Does this sound like you? I mean, the details, holy hell. Yeah, the details with all this. Now, I will say that what might help this, and when I say help is because Virgo can be like, you talk to people with strong Virgo and they can't sleep at night because the brain never shuts off. But the Pluto at the Pisces degree can help with sleep. And then you have creative energy here. A Mercury retrograde conjunct your sun. They're both at a creative degree, which says, I can do something with it. Probably something you can see, feel, Venus, maybe even smell, taste, touch, like something, it should be beautiful. It should taste good and look good, kind of Venus energy. But, okay, so you have Taurus in the 5th house of your creative stuff. And Venus is in the 1st house, making things look beautiful again. Yeah, balanced, harmonious. Oh, and it's conjunct your Pallas Athena. Okay, so these can be professional partnerships, by the way. And the group energy. Because Aquarius is group energy too, and your work is there, but you got Capricorn there at a Venus degree. Holy crap. Well, holy shit, this comes down to using this water energy of this trine, of this kite. The kite just means that it takes a trine, the Neptune, the Chiron, and the Hathor and the Sirius energy, which is nurturing energy, mom energy. How do you feel nurtured? What do you do to nurture yourself and others? What do mothers do? What did moms do, right? They breastfeed, their partnership energy. But Neptune and the water connection means it happens easily. It even speaks to, maybe you've done this before, because this energy is working together, but it pulls up the past, pulls up soul history, soul memory, for sure. Karma energy is triggered here. Not a bad thing necessarily, but the group comes up, the group energy. So whether it's friends or working with groups of people, but then the kite part means that it all pours through Pluto. So it has to make a difference. It has to be meaningful in some way. Now, at the 12 degrees, again, that can be done in a creative way at the 12 degrees. So maybe it's not, I don't know. Normally Virgo is really plain and dry and maybe even a little boring, right? But because you have some creative degrees here, maybe it's not boring, right? Maybe there's something, I don't know, something beautiful about it, something harmonious, but likely something that has to do with serving in some type of way. This can be with the service industry, of course, but the fact that you have technology here, who knows? It can be tech tools, because Virgo likes to use tools, literally. Virgo's like this, Gardening is a big thing with Virgo energy. They're the harvesters, even. Yep. But the tech part, even at the Virgo frickin' degree. Oh, and look at 6th degree. It's an exact trine to the 5th house creative cusp line of Taurus, food. So hopefully, if you're using your creativity, which I gotta believe, if this is your chart, that you would absolutely be using it, because it's hard to ignore Uranus energy. It's very hard to ignore it. especially since this Uranus in Virgo in a practical way. How's Uranus showing up? I'm the authority. I'm an individual. I'm unique with domestic kind of energy, right? It rules all this Aquarius energy you have in the second house, which is Taurus energy. You follow? How I make money and income, but different in something very different and unique. So I would really kind of love to hear what you do with this energy. But again, this is more group energy. 17. Wow. That's creative energy. You even have your frickin' Saturn at a creative degree. Something where you would stand out and be quite inventive, actually. Now, I will say, because you have a retrograding Saturn, it can delay things. You can be your own boss, but it can delay things in a retrograde. It throws a lot of stop signs and delays and slowdowns, and it can be dad energy too, where dad's just a real over the top authoritarian type of energy where it's like, whoa, it can go crazy. But maybe you learn how to harness that energy. So if this is you, let us know. We'll keep your chart in the system if it sounds like you. That is for Stephanie Houston. Oh, wait, I had this on the chart the whole time. Zazu, did you see that from Christy? Prayers for you and loving light heading your way. Remember, Zazu, to ask for help. Remember what we talked about. You can ask for help. So you've got something to focus on, controlling of self and the control to forgive, and the forgiveness is for yourself. All right, so Stephanie, I hope that made sense for you. All right. So July 12th, we got another one. Ontario, Canada, curious about career and money. I'm a chef, always multitasking, very detailed. Very detailed. Oh, if you're a chef, I would probably eat your food then. It's the ones who are very Here's the thing about that. Have you ever watched like any of the Asian cooking? That's like what I go to sleep to. Not every night, but yeah. Like, especially if life is throwing a bunch of crazy shit my way. What soothes me is just hearing that knife chop. I don't want to hear music. I don't want to hear any of that crap. I just want to hear the sounds of the kitchen. And I don't want to hear all this other crazy shit, like to me. Like just all that stuff is just wonderful. But when you watch like the Asians, I've always connected Virgo energy to the Asian culture. They're so meticulous. It's amazing. Freaking over the top. Amazing. Clean, but so detailed and meticulous. And God, the shit that I've seen them do as street vendors. And when I say street vendors, I'm not talking like they got their big old like restaurant on wheels. I'm talking like a cart that looks like the old school carts, right? And the shit they produce out of there, I'm like, holy hell. And how are they keeping shit clean? It's amazing. I've always been so impressed with them. And because my brain goes right to astrology, and I'm like, that's some Virgo shit right there. It's for real. Very independent, creative, do love the finer things. Fairness, mom was controlling. Yeah, sometimes mom can, the Libra, right? Did you have the Libras? And I never knew that until Libras told me, literally. They always said, oh no, Libras can be really controlling. And I was like, oh. And then everybody since then, Libra energy was like, yep, always busy, beyond brain, always on overload. Okay, please explain kite. Oh, I did, I think. Oh, okay, I'm on my own. Very deep, very, oh, okay, yeah. Very, yeah. Okay, good. Very good. Thank you so much. Confirming why I am and how I am. Yeah, I mean, isn't it cool to see yourself energetically on paper? I don't know. There's something so affirming, especially for people who, like, let's pretend your chart, like, let's pretend you were living a life that you absolutely hated, that you were in a career you couldn't stand, that you were unhappy in relationships, unhappy with like, you know what I mean? So people end up internalizing that shit and they feel like, God, I'm a failure. I'm this, I'm that. And the beauty of the astrology is it takes your chart and it says, whoa, slow down. Look at the paperwork. This is what you were dealt. This is who you are. This is what this life is. This is what you were said here. Make something with this. And then the same goes true for the people that we look at and we're like in awe of, and we're like, God, they're so amazing. And it's like, whoa, let's look at their chart. This is what they were dealt. This is what they got to deal with. Like, these were the cards they were given. Not that everybody's life or that some people have it easier than others, but it just kind of places us all on the same level playing field. Like, it's not so much about, you know, you're horrible or you're great. It's just simply look at the cards you were dealt. Look at the cards they were dealt. Look at, what they had to begin with. But you can see it energetically. And it's like, this makes sense. No wonder. So it takes a lot of the blame out, right? It takes a lot of that crap out where it's like, oh, so I'm not awesome. Like, this is what I should have been doing. And if I hadn't, it would then be like, God, what the hell was your problem? Why weren't you doing that? It said you could be doing that, right? Which is a possibility. But anyway, it's very amazing. Try doing the Asian, oh God. The Asian chef worked 10 to 12 hours a day, very focused, time driven. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what enables you to work like that? A goddamn workhorse like that? Your Mars is in freaking Scorpio, okay? Your Mars is in Scorpio. Yes, your Saturn is in Aquarius. And so that is absolutely about you being, just sticking with it. But people who have Mars in Scorpio, there's going to be an abundance of physical energy that they have. And yours is in your 11th house, which is like people may look at you and be freaking amazed and like they're still standing. Holy shit. Because it's Uranus energy, which gives you booster rockets. Because Mars can be really sporadic energy, though. But it's in Scorpio. Again, it rules it. So attached with 11th house, it's on boosters. It's got the rockets. So it's quite amazing, not to mention you have a lot of things that connect. Your Mars connects to Uranus in your chart. You just have a lot of things that really support what you do, which is wonderful. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, that sounds like you. We saved your chart. You're all in. Okay. So who else came in? I'm sorry. I only have time for one more, literally. So is this person still here? Because you were next in line, I believe. And then the other person, Christiana 3543. So I end at 9, so I only have time for one more person. I'm supposed to be ending right now, but I'll be back again. Come by every Saturday, and then usually during the week, a surprise live. So click on the thing, hit the damn bell thingy-majiggy, and it tells you when I go live, basically. I might go either Monday or Tuesday. If not Monday, definitely on Tuesday. But usually it's during the day, so maybe it's not a good time for you. Either way, send me an email. Stuff's below. And But every Saturday we do something. If we're not here, we're doing it privately. But we do have private lives. We do the same thing we're doing tonight, but we do it privately. It's limited spaces in that. And you do got to send me an email to get in on that if you want to do that, if you don't want to wait. But anyway, but we do this. Let me get your chart drawn up. I'm going to call you B. I'm going to get your chart drawn up, B. But we do this. I do this. You know, we do the free readings, the quick ones, the quick free readings, because, you know, astrology readings are expensive. And I think accuracy is important. But it's a matter of helping, you know, honestly. Okay, so that was easy. Let me get the digits going on here. I have July 12th, 1987. Have you seen your chart before? 7:32 a.m. And the location, Ontario, Canada. All right, let's see what we got. I'm so glad the system updated. Let me see. Let's get this on the screen. Oh, did I have the wrong birthday? 85. Did I say 85? I said 87. My bad. Let me edit that. Thank you for saying that right away. That would make a difference. My eyeball, my dyslexic shit. 85. My eye jumped right to the 7, said, we don't need the 5. We'll skip over it. So I got July 12th, 1985. Okay, let's get this gone and let's see what we're looking at. I have a Leo rising at 2 degrees. Does that sound like you? I know that wasn't really any information. Let's go and... Ooh, Pluto at 1 in Scorpio. Woohoo! We got a Scorpio in the 4th. Oh, God. Okay. Well, when I see Scorpio in the 4th, there's usually like trauma, family ancestry trauma involved. So you're a Cancer sun, you're a Taurus moon. Oh, conjunct your North Node. Interesting. 10th house, money, finances. Can be really creative energy, possibly the earth and food involved, possibly if you're using it creatively. Saturn, whenever we have Taurus in the 10th, the restrictions of Saturn make it just kind of, you know, sometimes these folks, it might take a while for them to figure out how to use that energy. There's one teaching that Taurus energy sleeps for majority of its life until it awakens. I kind of liken it to the bull in the pasture. It's comfortable. And as long as it can sit there and it's got its grass to chew on, it's fine. It has everything it needs. It's got its own spot. It's good. But you take those comforts away and it's like, what the hell? You know, you wake the bull up and it might get mad. But yeah, it wakes up. So, creative moon energy. This could describe mom, peaceful, harmonious, pleasant, beautiful, stubborn. Let me see here. 17. Okay. Jupiter squares that, though. That might actually be a really good thing. And, oh, okay. You have a big T-square. So the Mercury, you have a big T-square. This might have been a mixed bag. This might have been a mixed bag of tricky stuff. Jupiter at the opposite of Mercury can be tricky. You know, because Mercury's all about the details. Jupiter can exaggerate things, right? It's energy that can make, what is that, a mountain out of a molehill type of thing. A balanced perspective is a thing. Yeah, that can be tricky. So that all angles, squares your moon, which can be mom energy again. But your North Node, which is, wow. That's kind of like your soul's goal for this lifetime, that North Node energy. Okay, I have to understand the basic chart before I can even, you know, it doesn't make sense. I can't talk to you about anything futuristic without understanding your basic chart. No astrologer can. I mean, Sure, they can get some information coming through intuitive wise. Sure. But I think understanding the basic chart is, well, that's the whole point of the astrology. Okay, so the house, sun is at 20 degrees conjunct Mars. Oh, dad energy with the Mars right next to it, but this can be mom energy again. This can be a mixture of mom and dad energy. Mars is usually challenged a little bit in Cancer energy. It can be tricky as hell. There can be emotional explosions. Okay. That's a trine to the Saturn. Look at that. It's a retrograde Saturn. Oh, God. Okay. Well, the retrograde Saturn talks about restrictions and slowdowns and delays, but it's also talking about I've done this before in another time. It's heavy. It's duty. It's responsibility. Oh, my God. So the connection with the family and the ancestry and the karmic connections, this would kind of feel like you guys are on a record and trying to get off of that, like stop that tape from playing over and over again. Like we keep going through the same thing. This is tricky ass energy. This is hard stuff. So the beauty of the Saturn and the Mars, though, is that Saturn might actually discipline that Mars energy. Now, this can be. Hold on, I got to see here. You're 20 degrees. Okay, so Mars is your malefic, your physical body. Restrictions from the Saturn energy, dad energy too. Can be physical restrictions at times. Okay. Yeah, you got Virgo in the second house and also on the third house cusp line. So the thinking ability is going strong. There's your Mercury. Mercury rules this Virgo. God, it's mom energy again? Really? Holy shit. Was mom fun? This can be coworkers, siblings, neighbors, but it's that Mercury energy connected to the Virgo. Wow. Again, authority figure and work comes up. And the mind energy. Okay, so I think you had I have to understand you before. Wait a minute. Who was this? And what did you have attached to it? Okay, curious about career and money. Okay, so let me see what you're going to have going on here. You're going to have the nodes making a move. Oh, okay. So it's all in your second house where the nodes have been. Gosh, maybe you've been definitely thinking of considering some other options because it's Mercury energy. Decisions, choices, and options. 29 degrees. Let me see what you have in fire because you're going to have Uranus. Okay. Oh, you have Pluto in your seventh house of professional partnerships and relationships. Mars going through the house of career. So basically, this Virgo energy is going to work, right, with anything that involves a lot of details and being the fixer, coming upon the scene and making something better. Perfection is a big keyword for Virgo. I should have mentioned that in the other person's chart. The 25 degrees on your second house of money and income, this suggests something creative, though. And if not creative, absolutely, I'm like the boss energy. So whether you really are the boss or maybe you feel deep inside like, because it's something about there's a combination of boss and independence and leadership qualities here, okay? So that even trines your midheaven. It's a nice trine to the midheaven. Yeah, it's a strong trine, actually. You have a strong grand fire trine here. Now, even your midheaven suggests independent energy, solo energy, and leadership qualities. However, that kind of talks about within even maybe institutional energy. Aries is a born fighter, that's for sure. It's going to be a minute before anything goes. So your Virgo is going to go into Leo. And I think when 25 degrees gets triggered, I don't know, are you looking for different work? Are you just considering it right now? Are you just tossing ideas around? Um, when Aquarius is in our 7th house like this, we're always looking for the next exciting new different thing. Like that's Aquarius energy. It wants to shake things up, right? It wants something that's unconventional. So professional energy, right? Business partnerships, but also personal. But you have air. You have air in the 3rd, the 7th. You have air in the air houses. So there's always networking, talking, and communication, right? Flexible, changing, mutable. I get bored possibly easily, right? Like a love of variety. Need to keep shit fresh. Big time. It's written in your chart in a lot of ways. Super unconventional energy. However, you have Jupiter in your 7th house natally, and Jupiter is your great benefic in your chart, which says of relationships and lots of opportunities. So it's not just about the exaggerations with that Mercury stuff, but it's also new opportunities. But you like exciting and new opportunities and unconventional for partnerships, personal and professional. And Jupiter promises that you're probably always going to have those opportunities. So you may be always like considering options, which is why I was just trying to point out why I was asking that question. When you have a chart that's kind of like alive like this and very active with mind energy and talking and networking and communicating. So the timeline, when the South Node gets near, I want to see where they pair up for you. It might be. Well, this is August already. Holy shit. Okay. I mean, yeah. You might have to wait until then. But it looks like you might have some information coming in terms of new partnerships, something new, something exciting. Whether it has to do with money, it could, because even your Jupiter is at a money freaking degree. But at this time, this is mid-August. Look at Jupiter, Mercury, all the stuff here, profession, work, Jupiter in Leo, creative stuff. I don't know what you do for work, but there's something about you and your appearance. Again, you might look like the boss. There's a lot of Leo energy here, and it's all at the opposition of your Jupiter at this time. And this is when the nodes are now in Leo. A lot of strong creative energy here in the 2nd house of money and income, by the way. Leo can be hair too. People who cut hair or something with makeup and costumes, performative kind of stuff. It is, of course, art. Yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, yeah, creative stuff. So you're looking maybe a little good news coming your way as far as career and money. Yeah. And again, career, money, but also relationships, personal and professional. Some opportunities because you'll have Jupiter opposite Jupiter, Jupiter opposing Jupiter energy. You follow? Yeah. I like that for you. Jupiter can represent travel as well, just so you realize, okay? I don't know how familiar you are with the astrology stuff, and I didn't use that word, but we think about the future and adventure and the next opportunity. So just consider your options, but it talks about possibly greener pastures, and don't be too swept off by something. You might have to force the energy to slow down a little bit, because optimism and courage and confidence is going to be flowing abundantly. So just, be smart. Use all that brain energy, all that Mercury energy you have. Um, you might have to make some decisions, right? If there's any big decisions, you just want to make sure that you don't overlook any of the details, right? And focus on the long-term goals, long-term values that you want to build, rather than just chasing the next exciting thing, literally, okay? Or it's because something feels good in the moment. It's a time to dream and explore new ideas, to research paths that you want to take, all right? But it's a time also to avoid making commitments that you're not going to be able to follow through on, all right? Keep that in mind. That's going to be important. And you don't want to get too scattered, which can happen with the Jupiter opposite Jupiter, for sure. We're just so confident. We are so confident. We feel like we can do anything. Taking your time is going to be important. Balance is going to be important. But thoughtful planning is probably going to be the next most important thing. But it talks about a time of growth. But without, to make the most of it, just make sure you keep your head on straight and that you plan. All right. So the timeline on that, again, begins in August, the beginning of August, and it runs with you. It's with you all the way. Gosh, all the way to the beginning, second week of September, even opportunities, and you'll feel that adrenaline rush of energy. But it's going to be strong because your Uranus energy, while that Jupiter's at that position, it's going to be trining your Uranus right here in the house of creativity and romance and travel. You follow? Love and money and desires are big here. So just remember the old school saying, fools rush in. Hey, Louis, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right, we are done. We're over. And check back. We do this every Saturday. Next Saturday, June 20th, we're here tonight. So next Saturday is the private lives. And that's right. God, time is flying so fast. So fast. Email is down below if you ever want to get in on a private lives. Those are very small, limited seats available for those. And I'll be back again either Monday or Tuesday. Maybe Monday. Somebody requested Monday because they have a birthday on that day. We'll see. It just depends if I can swing it. If not, we'll be doing this on Tuesday here on YouTube. But every Saturday we're doing something along with, whatever video. So look out for the Chiron video. I'm going to put a refreshed version of the Chiron video out because Chiron's a huge theme right now. So with that said, we are ending. And thank you everybody who sent gifts to the channel. Appreciate it very much. And I will see you when I see you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.